You're listening to On the Road, a law enforcement journey. Hear from those currently on the force while getting an insider view from what it takes to become a law enforcement officer.
Welcome to episode number 17 of On the Road, a law enforcement journey. I'm your host, Jeremy Tormala. So I'm trying the live app again right now. I'm currently living at my parents' place while I try to find a house. So the internet on my computer and my phone gets super spotty. It likes to disconnect. So I'm going to try this, and hopefully I don't have the same issues as last time. But all right. So this is pretty straightforward. Week 16 was our last week of the police academy. In this episode, we'll cover that. I'll give just a general review of the police academy, kind of where I'm at now. And our practical segment's going to be studying for the licensing exam. And our practical segment, or our fitness segment's going to be setting goals on how to do that. Just very, very basic, but it's very beneficial stuff and something most people don't do, and it's why they don't see any progress and that they give up on their training. So without further ado, let's just get right into this. Week 16, so this was the week of May 2nd. On Monday, searching and fingerprinting for 4 hours. Nothing exciting about that. That's exactly what it sounds like. So just going over your pat down and full custodial searches again, and fingerprinting procedures. Then we had 2 hours of prisoner care and treatment, which was primarily geared more towards corrections field, but it was still nice to get an understanding on the process for that and what they do. Then we did 2 hours of auto theft. This was actually pretty interesting on what to look for, like indicators for potential stolen vehicles and what the VIN numbers mean and how they're actually made. So that makes it even a little bit more comical when you know that stuff. I'm not going to go over that stuff because I don't have the material in front of me and I don't want to misspeak or give wrong information. But the vehicle identification number is specifically made to identify that vehicle by the make, model, year, all that type of stuff. So when you see people etching off or trying to change numbers on it, that makes it even more factual that it's a stolen vehicle. So it's, I don't know, kind of comical that, again, the lengths people will go to hide their crimes, yet they make it more obvious to police officers on them actually committing a pretty serious crime. So it was actually very valuable information. And then it was also stuff to prepare us for the Michigan Commission of Law Enforcement Standards, or the MCOLS licensing exam, because our instructor said there's probably more than likely going to be some of the stuff on that exam, which is why it's important to go over. Then our last 2 hours on Monday was case testimony critique. So we were given a case from the prior week to study and go over it, and then we'd have to testify. They actually brought in our criminal law instructor. So he was attorney, acted as a judge, and then we actually had a prosecuting attorney and a defense attorney come in to represent our suspect. And we had do the mock trial of testifying and getting peppered with questions on what you said, or if you spoke or misspoke or anything. You definitely heard about that. It was actually a very good, fun experience. Learned a lot from that. I was the first one to go, so normally everybody knows it. It's just unless you're always a diehard, I want to go first in line, whatever, which is always the best way to go because you get it done. You get it done and you get to watch everybody else and you get to learn that way. So that was my experience. It was, I'd rather go second just so I kind of have an idea to what's going on, how long does it take, or stuff like that. I guess that's just me, and it depends on the situation. But going first was fun because you get to see. I know what was going to happen, so being able to watch everybody else come in and see them go through it was kind of fun and interesting. Tuesday was scenario day, so I was practicing everything we learned in the academy and putting it to everything. I mean, I'm not going to go over like in-depth scenarios. This was literally everything. We did traffic stops, so for writing tickets. So your basic just running a stop sign or not using a blinker, so stuff like that. Then we had to do felony stops, uh, doing the FSSTs, PBTs, dealing with drunk and disorderly people, preserving and collecting evidence, first aid scenarios, breaking and entering in progress. So we literally had to do everything and anything, um, especially some of the more serious stuff, to make sure we are staying kind of on the ball with that type of stuff. Because if you don't practice it, you lose it. And our break and entering was actually fun because we used the downstairs basement of the academy, and it was all completely blacked out. So we had to go. We used this sim rounds, so we had to go with and clear that. So it was a 2-man team. That was actually fun to do that because adding darkness adds the intensity of the whole layout, and we also know the people we were searching for were armed and dangerous. So you want to make sure you're clearing rooms properly, you're cutting the pie properly, and stuff like that. Very valuable day. It was a very long day because it was pretty much go, 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 go. You were doing one scenario. Once you were done, you went into the staging area, and pretty much within 5 minutes, you were going right to the next scenario. And that was pretty much all day. A lot of fun, a lot of learning again, because when you make those major mistakes, it provides a an invaluable learning opportunity. I say invaluable because the value on it is more than what you could put on that. So there's no price on learning something that could potentially save your life and prevent you from doing something that will harm yourself, harm somebody else, or have a case get thrown out. Wednesday was a study day, so it was primarily the main courses and our main instructors that came in, and we just talked about the main learning objectives to all of the courses. It was honestly pretty dry, just because it's literally sitting up, sitting in a seat all day while instructors just talk and rehash everything we've learned over the semester. Um, Not saying there was any value to it, there was, but when you're doing that for 8 hours, and you get a 5 minute break every hour to go pee or take a shot of coffee, it was a long day. Thursday was the big day. It was our MCOLS exam and our graduation. So Wednesday was kind of, when I got home Wednesday night, I didn't study at all for MCOLS, the licensing exam. I was just like, you know what, I feel confident. Like, I've done well on the traffic law, the criminal law exams. Anytime they bring up scenarios, I can answer. Like, if I don't say the answer out loud in class, I can say it in my head, and it's feel pretty confident in that. And the hour drive, I just didn't want to get home and fry my brain by going over everything all over again. So just like, all right, well, we reviewed for 8 hours. I feel like I'm confident and I know my stuff. So I'm just going to get a good night's sleep. I'm going to wake up, have a good breakfast, and just going to mosey on, make my way over there and just take the exam and get it the hell over with. Um, I didn't feel any nerves and stuff, obviously, right up until prior to the exam, because then it becomes real of like, the like you got to pass this. If you pass this or you don't pass it, you get one more opportunity. And if you bomb that one too, you have to go through an academy all over again. So there's a lot riding on this exam. Um, I'll go in afterwards. It's yeah. Uh, Maybe I'll just get into it now. So it was. I think we had 3.5 hours. I don't remember the time to complete the exam, but it was all computer based, and the licensing exam is all scenarios, all scenario based. And afterwards, and I'll go through this because our practical segment covers this, but afterwards, even though like I felt confident, and it's like I felt like I picked the best answer I possibly could on any questions, it is a complete mind mess. Like, you honestly feel like I failed that, like, or I could be 50-50. Holy crap. I wish I knew what was going on, because then you're just going to sit and fester for the next couple hours because you're not 100% sure. Did I pass? Did I not pass? Because you don't know the results immediately. You have to wait and find out, because the grading and assessing is done actually in a different area. So not in the facility or the person proctoring the exam. So it's a process. Again, I'll get more into that during our practical. And then afterwards was graduation. We had a lot of people there. I had a lot of people there. It was nice. I had, obviously my wife, my son, mother-in-law. I'm going to say my grandparents because it's my wife's grandparents, but they've been like my grandparents since me and my wife have been together. It was great to have them there. And then I was really surprised. My twin brother and my mom made a trip from the UP. So it was a great day to think about it. I was excited about it, and I felt like a baby. We all go marching in there, and I freaking start tearing up. I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me! But it is just my body's reaction. It was a very emotional day because it was such a long process, and to have it finally come to an end. And at this point, now talking about, I passed the licensing exam. We found out prior to graduation, so just to have that huge weight off of the shoulders and know that it's finally over, that was priceless. Graduation ceremony was about an hour. Um, yeah, it's just your basic graduation ceremony. You get some awards handed out to people and go shake hands and say adios. And we went back to my wife's grandparents' place, and we had some pizza and stuff. So it was nice just to visit with everybody. And yeah, it was good. Uh, I greatly appreciate my family and stuff that came. It means a lot. It's a big accomplishment, a big achievement, and after the many years of riding the strength and conditioning train in the sports industry and dragging my family through the mud with that, it was priceless to have that feeling to know it was finally over. So I'll just do this now. So the academy I went to was the West Shore Community College Police Academy in Ludington, Michigan. Well, it's actually in Free Soil, but Ludington, Michigan. So the main difference that might be next year compared to this year is eliminating the spring break week, because that was one of the things we said in our review is there was much more training we wish we could have gotten, and we wish we would have just went through, continued training through spring break, because it was hard to have that week off and then come back into it when we could have been, you know, done taser training or more scenario or more sim round training, because the scenario training was phenomenal. That's where we got most of our learning from. And, you know, we understand, and I'm not blaming the instructors or anything on this, because there is only so much you can fit into a 12-hour day without extending the time, and all that stuff costs money. So again, just general feedback on what we would have liked to have seen and stuff like that. My only major critiques I have is, and they're not really downsides to it, just to be aware if anybody wants to go here to know what you're getting into. The physical training, and I probably would say that about any academy I would have gone to because of my background. PT, you will lose weight, you will get in shape, but my standpoint is I could have designed a program for everybody in this academy and gotten much better results with half the work. I was really disappointed that we didn't use any of the weights, because we trained at a recreational facility where they had, you know, certain like machines. I hate machines, but what you could have just introduced them for people to use. They had ellipticals, treadmills. Of course, we had the gym to run into, which I'd rather just run and do sprints and buddy drags. So when we were doing that stuff, I thought that was really great that we were doing the buddy drags and sprints and shuttles, because your body needs to be ready for that type of stuff. There are things I really liked about PT, but I'm just saying, from the thing is, there wasn't really no plan. It was doing the same things over and over and over and over again with slight differences. Doing push-ups every day to failure. Not the best things to do, because when we're not doing anything to help compensate that, you're already going to add to that poor posture that officers already have, a tight chest, rounded shoulders, which just only adds to lower back pain, which is already prevalent in that industry. So we should have been doing more pull-ups, chin-ups. I mean, we have no shortage of dumbbells, dumbbell rows, hip thrusts, that type of stuff. So if you're going to go to this academy, just be aware of that. Is you're going to have to do stuff on your own to combat the heavily abuse of push-ups, push-ups, push-ups. That's where I'll go on that. We all passed the PT test, which is the primary thing, and I can just sit here and pick it apart because again, I still have my certifications, and these PT instructors they're police officers. They work full time as police officers, so that's not their ballpark. So I hold no fault to them. They were great people, and they're just doing the best what they can with the resources they got. I totally get that. Defense tactics. Again, great instructors. I've said that about it. Like this academy had great instructors all around. I don't think I have anything like bad to say about anybody. Like they were passionate about what they were teaching, which made it fun and engaging. This is just what I didn't like from the academy, and maybe because I'm old and stuff like that. But defense tactics, we had multiple injuries during the academy, and one was actually a pretty severe one where the recruit couldn't do anything physical for like over 2 weeks, and a lot of it was because we'd be learning something, especially when it comes to the ground on the ground stuff, and it'd be no more than 70%. And then they would just throw it out the window. All right, one officer gets up, the other one gets down, and you can't do that at 70%. People are going to go 100%. And when you literally got people being picked up off the floor and almost thrown on the concrete, and you see instructors' faces grimacing, and they're not doing anything, to me, that's a problem. That's a safety issue, yet you're not doing anything to stop it. And again, we had multiple injuries happen during the academy, so just beware of that. And if you don't go 100%, you're doing it again. And I feel like a lot of the learning went out the window because when you're trying to learn something, you need good repetitions over and over and over again. You can't learn something just once or twice and then go, all right, we're going 100% now, because that's going out the window because you're trying to either get up off the ground or keep somebody from getting up off the ground. I hope that makes sense. And a lot of the younger guys liked it. I like that stuff on the military, but now that I'm older, it goes, all right, if something happens seriously to me, I have no medical coverage. And then what if I can't finish the academy? Now what am I going to go do? My family's depending on me to finish this academy. The department's, relying on me to finish this academy to be able to come help them. Like many departments are understaffed right now, and the last thing they need is their potential recruit getting hurt in the academy and they're unable to complete it. So just be aware of that. The positive things, again, there's so many great instructors at the West Shore facility. Our director was a great person. It was his first year doing this, so of course there was some bumps in the road, but we all made it through. And I would recommend it to this academy and everybody. It's a smaller group. We had 9 in the academy, and I think the average is like 12 to 15 from year to year. You're gonna have close relationships with the other recruits. The instructors, they go above and beyond to help you out if you need it. They're very passionate, very friendly, very professional. But other than the PT and the defensive tactics, yeah, that's and I mean, I made it through. So I mean, if my old ass made it through, I mean, everybody should. But I'm just looking from the safety standpoint, the old man caution, oh, don't jump off that bridge, you might hurt your knees, that type of stuff. So again, I would still recommend people to go to it. It was a great experience. It's I'm glad I did it. Again, I've said this numerous times. My regret is I wish I would have done it sooner. So update on me before we get practical segment. I just found a house to rent, so I'm hopefully going to go secure that today. I started, my first day was on the 9th with the department. I'm not going to say the department name. I mean, if anybody's been listening and following the show, they already know where I'm going. But but it's been a lot of paperwork and to mainly to officially get my license, and that was done yesterday. So I got to swear the oath, which was another huge thing. We did it informally, but it was just another kind of weight off the shoulders that, like, okay, everything's done. I'm officially licensed, and now the actual stuff begins. So I'm nervous about that, but I'm excited because my first shift is on Friday. I'm looking forward to it. Everybody at the department has been absolutely phenomenal. I couldn't ask, you know, to go to a better place, and the opportunity that they're giving me, it's there's no words to say how much I greatly appreciate that they're willing to take a shot on me. And there's probably wouldn't have that opportunity if it weren't for my brother. But it was everybody there has been absolutely wonderful, and I look forward and to being a part of that department, and I'm truly honored to be a part of that department. Today I'm going to the range, and then I'm going to try to stay up until as late as I can. Normally I'm in bed, if it wasn't for the academy, like 8:30, 9 o'clock, or 9:30. But with the FTO program going 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., so that'll be a different switch in my sleep schedule. But I'll get used to it. It's going to be a lot of. It'll be easier to stay awake because definitely going to be learning a lot, and you know, finally, rubber meets the road and all this stuff is real. So I'm looking forward to it. I love the community. This is the community I grew up in, and watching the other officers on how they do things, it's really inspiring, and I can't wait to be able to make a difference like they do on a daily basis. So let's get into the practical segment, and this is going to be on the licensing exam. And I'm just going to say straight up, but touch on a little bit. It is a total mind trick. You will feel absolutely terrible about it. You'll feel, because I felt confident. The answers I selected, it's like, my gut was saying this, but then when you start talking to the other crew, it's just like, because there was was there 200 questions? I think it was 200 questions. So you're trying to remember certain ones when you get in. Everybody starts finishing. It's like, what did you put for this one? And people start giving different answers. Like, oh shit. Okay, well that makes sense. And then it's like, oh crap. Well, I hope I didn't do that on a lot of the other ones. And I'll talk about this here in a little bit. But yeah, it is a mind mess. So going on to, I guess, preparing for the exam, my advice, and this is just what I did, is do not overstudy. Overstudying is probably going to give you worse results than if you didn't study in the first place. So look at the objectives for your course objectives. For us here in Michigan, we get the big booklet that covers all of our courses and our course objectives. So look over that as you're going through the academy or exam week. Don't study it. You just look over it. Like, look what were the main objectives of all the courses that we went through, because that's the stuff you get tested on. And just like with traffic law, it's impossible to remember everything, but look at the major ones and have an understanding of some of the minor ones, especially the ones that you might struggle with. Hit on those a little bit, because that's all testable material. You don't know what's going to be on the exam. 200 questions over 16 weeks worth of training. There could be anything and everything on there. So it's better to be prepared. Do not overstudy. So if you're looking at those objectives, you're looking through the course material. If something does not make sense, go study those. Go back to that course material. If you were taking notes, which you should have been taking notes through the academy. The biggest things to do, again, this applies for Michigan. I don't know for you guys that are in different countries, because I've got listeners right now, which blows my mind. Russia, Spain, Italy. It's like, holy cow. But here in the USA and Michigan, it's where was I going with that? I'm going through my notes right here. Oh, like the elements and understanding. So you have to know the elements to crimes. What's the difference between assault and battery, felonious assault, first degree arson, second degree arson, third degree, fourth degree, fifth degree, first degree home invasion, second degree home invasion, breaking and entering. What are the difference between all those? So having a basic understanding and knowing what the elements of a crime are will help you in taking this exam. And you have to know your bloody search warrant exceptions. There was a lot on the search warrants exceptions. So just because you stop somebody and you arrest somebody for driving with a license suspended does not mean you get to go search their damn vehicle. And if you find drugs and stuff like that, if that person wants to fight your case, it's going to get tossed out because that was an illegal search. And there's probably some people listening is going, no, it's not. Yeah, I'm telling you right now, Michigan law, it is illegal to do that. You cannot do that. And that is a violation of the person's right. The Fourth Amendment, it protects everybody. We have the Michigan Constitution. We also have the big old U.S. Constitution. I said this last week's episode. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? U.S. Constitution is our baby. You cannot violate somebody's constitutional rights. Now, if you unintentionally do it, it's going to provide you a valuable learning experience. You just have to own up to that, because the biggest mistake you can do is trying to cover something up or lie about it. So, yeah, I messed up. Own up to that. So take the licks and learn from it. But back on studying that. So know the elements of the crime. And traffic law, I talked on this too. It's impossible to remember everything, but know the basics. What are you primarily going to see when you're out on the road doing road patrol? Whether it be registration, so plates, insurance, what's considered your jurisdiction? Can you stop somebody in another jurisdiction? What if they committed an offense on the border? So your jurisdiction's border, and they come into your jurisdiction. Can you stop them? So having to understand those laws are very important, because that stuff that stuff was on there. Again, it's impossible to remember everything, but once you're studying the elements of the crime, your major traffic law you're probably going to come across, and you've been studying during the academy and taking notes, you should be fine. The biggest thing that hurts people when it comes to test taking, and I was guilty of this, and not during this academy, but in the past, primarily in high school and stuff, was changing your answer, read a question over and over again, and go, okay, I'm going to go with A. No, it's probably C. I'm going to change it. Yeah, let's go with C. And then it was A in the first place. So pick an answer and stick with it. Trust your gut. So the way this is set up is there's usually on the quiz, so it's all scenario based, and there can be multiple right answers, but you have to pick the best one. So that's where you feel like a mind, that's where you really mess with yourself on, did I pass? I don't know, because it could have been any of those answers. So did I pick the right one? It is, again, once you understand elements of the crime and stuff like that, you should have an idea. All right, well, I should be doing this first before I do this one. So it's not going to be that answer. So I'm going to pick this one. There's usually a word or the order of the answers that kind of helps to go, all right, well, I need to be doing this process first before I even consider doing this, or I need to notify dispatch before I do anything. So, all right, well, I'm going to notify dispatch. A lot of stuff is surrounding officer safety and stuff like that. But again, if you know your stuff, you'll be fine. So if you're going through an academy or you're going to take an academy, you better be writing notes. You better be studying. Like, what really helped me was in the academy is I would get up 4 o'clock in the morning before I'd go work out. I would literally just skim through the materials that we went over, and then read a little bit over what we were going to be doing later on in the day, especially when it came to criminal law. Everything we do is going to be based around traffic and criminal law. So yeah, it's important to have an understanding of that, and the search warrants and the search warrant exceptions. You have to know those. So the multiple questions. So what I mean by that is you'll have like some of the questions will be, it's just going to be one, pick either A, B, C, or D, or you're going to have your typical, all right, which is the best answer? 1 and 3 only, 1, 2, and 3 only, 4 only, stuff like that. So it's there was a lot of those type of questions. And when it came to the search warrant stuff, again, like I touched on a DWLS one, but knowing what you can and can't do, there was quite a few of those on there. And if you have a basic understanding again, and you put officer safety and people's rights, you will be fine. Don't overthink it. And going on that is trust your gut. So what I did, I think if I'm not saying this is a good thing or anything. I was the first to finish, and initially I was like, I don't know if this is a good thing. Did I go too fast? Like everybody else is still going. I don't want to be the first one and end up being the only one that, fails or anything like that. But when I was going through, I would literally solely read the question, so I'm making sure I'm understanding what the facts in that question are presented. Don't assume anything that's not in the question. Read the question as it is, take only that information, and then you answer the question based off of all that information. And then I would read the 3 or 4 answers. And typically one of those, your gut is going to go, all right, it's that one. If that happens, you select that answer and click next, go on the next one. Do not give it any more opportunity to go back and look at that question, because then you're going to start trying to assume things of, well, they didn't really give this information, so if this information was that, this answer would be this then, and then people start changing their answers. So read the question as it is, look over the answers as they are, and your gut's usually going to pick out the best one. If you don't know, go read the question again, or come back to it after. So we did it on a computer, so you could leave a question blank, and then when you got to the end of the exam, it would send you right back to the questions you didn't answer. And this is probably our longest practical portion, but it was the most stressful thing we have gone through in this academy, because you do not know if you pass or fail immediately. You have to wait. So we ended up going on lunch break after everybody was done. So we went to Applebee's, and all of us were nervous and stressing. That is the quietest I have heard anybody during the entire academy. We would say, people would start conversation, all that stuff, or we crack jokes and stuff like that. But again, there's so much riding on this. It is nerve wracking. So I had no appetite at all. I just ordered an appetizer and stuff like that. And then our director sent us a group text saying, everybody be back at 3:00 for one-on-one meetings. And we're like, well, shit, that does not sound good. Like, because we would expect, congrats, everybody passed. And that didn't happen. So needless to say, nobody wanted to eat anymore. So they brought out all the food and stuff like that. And nobody was eating, nobody was talking, because your nerves are just completely shot. Everything's going in your head. Did I pass? Did I fail? What happens if I fail? Holy crap. I'm not exaggerating about this. You can ask pretty much any police officer about it. Your nerves are completely shot. You feel like you bombed. Like it is not a good feeling. Our class president sent the director a text asking, so did everybody pass? And of course he never replied back. So got in the car. It was like a 20-minute drive back to the academy. Again, complete dead silence in the car. And they literally one by one, calling people in alphabetical order to go over the results of the exam. I'm not going to go over everybody else. I was happy to pass. That was, once found out passed, let the weight off the shoulders and this, okay, now I can go and enjoy graduation. So which was literally not even an hour after we found out the results of our licensing exam. So recapping on that, study, know your stuff, be engaged in the material when you're going through the academy. When you take the licensing exam, don't overstudy. Get a good night's sleep. Make sure you get good breakfast, because you're not going to want anything afterwards, because you're going to be too damn nervous to even be thinking about food and stressed out. You're just going to want to know, did I pass? And that's going to be many, many hours until you know, because it's not an immediate thing. You don't know right away if you passed or not. And trust your gut. Everything in law enforcement is trust your gut. If your gut's telling you something, there's a reason for that. All right, let's go now into our fitness segment. Yeah, okay, I didn't miss anything. Fitness segment. Very basic, bare bone stuff here. Goal setting. So before I get into this, workout logs. Yes, I'm doing my own plug here. Workout logs now on Amazon. Simply search Train Athletic Workout Log or type in my name, Jeremy Tormla, in Amazon search, and it'll pull up the Train Athletic Workout Logs. There's just a regular edition, and then there's the Police Edition, which has a thin blue line, the thin blue line theme to it, which is printed in color. The Police Edition has 3 months of training sheets, so that's if you were to train 7 days a week. Every day you would have a training sheet for 3 months. If you don't train 7 days a week, well, then you're probably going to have 6 months to a year of training sheets. Planning and tracking your training is important for monitoring progress and keeping you engaged in the training process. Again, simply log on, order yourself a copy. If you like it, leave a review. If you hate it, leave a review, and I will do what I can to make it better for everybody. All right, goal setting. So this was huge, and the strength and conditioning or any personal trainer will tell people this too if you're going through a consultation or maybe any business-minded people. SMART, the acronym SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, and time. So what does that mean? All right, let's just do basic over this. Specific. All right, well, I want to be healthy. Is that specific? Hell no. Specific. I want to lose 10 pounds. Okay, or I want to add 5 pounds of muscle, or I want to be able to back squat 315 pounds. Those are specific goals. I want to be healthy is not specific. So if you go into somebody comes up to me, I want to be healthy. What do I do? You can do anything and everything. Change your diet, be more active. Well, that's not what I mean. Okay, well, what do you mean? And then we get more into specific type goals. So be specific and write these down. Again, writing stuff down helps put ownership to you as the exerciser to make sure you accomplish what you wrote down. You have a sense of ownership to it. Measurable. How are you going to measure it? Do I have a scale and tape measures to measure myself to check my how many inches I'm losing, stuff like that? If I'm measuring speed, do I have a time? Like, can I measure time? Can I have somebody hold a stopwatch? Oh, yeah, I got faster, or I jump higher, or, oh, I went from 225 to 245 on back squat. Okay, I got stronger. Those are measurable. I want to be healthy, not really measurable. I hope that's making sense. And I'm just going to keep on using being healthy because when I worked as a personal trainer, I cannot tell you how many people came in the gym and go, well, I just want to be healthy. Just like, okay, I can't help you then. Like you could do that on your own. Like if you need, I want to add muscle mass or I want to look better for my spouse. All right, well that's a start. Let's start investigating that a little bit more. Achievable. All right. I want to add 20 pounds of muscle mass in 6 months. Yeah, that's not fucking happening. Or I want to look like freaking Brock Lesnar or Ray Lewis, or just like, all right, they're a product of their training and their sport. That's not going to happen. Set small, achievable, measurable goals. Achievable, it means it can be done. Can I lose 10 pounds in a month? Well, it depends on how much body fat and stuff you have. That can be done. But all right, well, I want to lose 1 to 2 pounds a week. All right, that's achievable. Or, I want to add. If I'm new, okay, your strength numbers can increase significantly faster than somebody who has a lot of training experience. So if I'm a new person, I want to go, all right, well, I'm squatting 185 pounds. In 6 months, I want to be squatting 225 pounds or more. So give yourself a little bit more because 225 might be something that you hit within like 2 months. Go, all right, well, now I'm going to reset that goal. So I achieved that marker and I'm going to go. Time doesn't mean how long you're doing something. Give yourself a timetable to do it. It's like a deadline. All right, I want to lose 10 pounds in 2 months. And what's going to happen if I don't do this? So give yourself a reward and give yourself a consequence for it. And it's got to be something that's actually going to make an impact on you. Like if you're a gamer, all right, if I don't achieve this, then I'm taking my PlayStation away. So I'm going to put my PS5 away for a month and stuff like that. Something that's going to make you actually stay consistent and work towards achieving your goals. Again, specific, measurable, achievable, and have a time or a deadline to it. That's the basics for that. Um, so a common one you hear a lot is I want to gain muscle and lose fat. Very hard to do unless you are a beginner or you have a very clean diet or you are using some sort of gear. People with great genetics, they're able to do that. I'm one of those, and most of the people I see on a daily basis are people who do not have great genetics. So you have to work that much harder, and you have to have smaller goals because it is going to take you longer to get where you want to go. The plus side is that it takes longer to get there. It also means you're going to be more prideful of earning that, and you're less likely going to let it just kind of fall off the wagon compared if you get there quick. Oh, holy shit, look at this. Sweet. I achieved this in a month. I don't feel like lifting anymore. I'm just going to let it fall off the wagon. You're going ups and downs of the roller coaster and doing the fad type training. Don't do in that. Take pride in everything. Set goals for yourself. Write down your goals so that you own it, and ride the slow train. Slowly cook yourself to get those results that you want. You're going to feel a lot more pride for that, and you're more than likely going to stay consistent in what you're doing because you know it works. So training is like kind of like clearing a room. If you're doing it solo, you're going to have to give up some areas of cover or safety. You're going to, yeah, well, I'm doing the best I can, but there's some exposed areas. So if, gaining muscle is probably going to come with some body fat. That's, you want to minimize that as much as possible. So if you're trying to gain weight, now I can't tell you how many times I've seen on bodybuilding.com of, bulk dieting, just eating garbage food, so junk food. Like, oh, if you're an ectomorph, which I am, go Burger King, McDonald's, eat all the fatty foods. Like, that's a lot of calories, and it's just like, no, don't do that. Uh, yeah, if you want to increase your risk for increased blood pressure and higher triglycerides and cholesterol and stuff like that, yeah, by all means go do that. But you got to be smart with your training and your diet. So when you're doing it by yourself, you have a lot more responsibility placed on you as the exerciser. So you have to kind of dot your I's and cross your T's with what you're responsible for. And it's going to be harder for you to do that. Set goals every month and change between your training stimuluses. What I mean by that is don't just stick to hypertrophy or endurance workouts all year long. Every month, do something different. It's going to, kick the monotony to the side of the curb and make training fun. So you actually engage in it. So maybe 1 month through strength, another one through power, another month through speed, etc. So you will actually add muscle mass by doing this because you are training athletic. Hence why I put my workout log as train athletic, because you want to train athletic as a police officer. But you add muscle mass by doing that because you are using a variety of reps, sets. So your training volume, your training loads, or your intensity. Yeah, it's athletic based training. Look at athletes and their sports. I mean, might be exception to like baseball or something like that, but they do not look like bodybuilders, yet most people want to look like them. It's like, holy crap, they got a good physique. They're athletic. Look at the move. I want to be like that. They are a product of their sport and their training. So focus on your training. That's one thing you can control. Train athletic, do jumps, hops, bounds, sprints, conditioning. Make sure you're hitting all the major movement patterns and you're not sticking to one specific goal of just, I'm going to just do powerlifting. You should use some lighter loads, moving them as fast as possible at times, all that type of stuff. And our sport is policing. So we should be practicing sprints, defense tactics type stuff, not coffee and donuts. So defense tactics, find a partner a couple times a week and just roll around for a couple minutes. You're staying up on that. It's a hell of a good conditioning exercise. And that's something that you might need to use sometime. Or if you have access to a punching bag, hit that up. That's a good cardio workout to get the heart rate up, and there's not a whole lot that can mimic that. So focus on your weight training and stuff that you're going to be doing as a police officer, and that will help you along the way. But the most important thing is set SMART goals. Again, specific, measurable, achievable, and time. I'm going to end that right here. It's typically our average show time. I apologize getting this done late, but at least better late than never. It's been busy since I've been here trying to get all that paperwork in order. Trying to find a house has been an absolute nightmare because so many places are not pet friendly, and I got 2 little beagles and we are not going to kick them to the curb. So they're coming with us. So thankfully, found a place yesterday. Going to try to go secure that. And then I got to try to maybe take a nap through the day so I could try to stay up as late as possible. Thank everybody for listening. If you have any comments, feedback, please let me know. Like, share this, leave a review. I would appreciate it. God bless you guys. Have a great rest of the week.
Thank you for listening to On the Road, a law enforcement journey. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or would like to be on the show, email me at ontheroadlaw@gmail.com. And please like, share this podcast. Thank you.